My name is Erno Hermans. I'm a principal investigator at the Donners Institute in Nijmegen. And in Nijmegen we're leading the development of the wearable devices and the integration of wearable device data with smartphone data, which will be collected in real life from our research participants. So this is the device. It's manufactured by IMEC, and you can see it here. So it has a small screen at the front. Otherwise it looks like many other smartwatches. But it does some very special things because it measures certain aspects of your physiological stress responses, and it can do so for 24 hours a day. So for example, we see here is the heart rate at the bottom, which of course is related to stress because your heart rate goes up when you're under stress. It measures temperature, which also goes up when you're under a lot of stress. And the third one we see here is the galvanic skin response, or skin conductance, which goes up when you're more aroused. So that's also part of a stress response. And that is something we can see fluctuating throughout the entire day. So when you get more stressed, you see more of these fluctuations. And from this we can derive when someone becomes more physiologically aroused. Now this can also be due to people making more movements. And for this we also have accelerometers in the device. So those are motion sensitive sensors, which we can then use to see if someone becomes physiologically aroused while they're not moving, which would be an indication of a stress response, right? So if your body is getting ready to take action, but you're not actually doing something, that is typical for a stress response. Yeah, so that we can detect when someone would be running or exercising, and then we can correct and see when someone gets a similar type of physiological response in the absence of movement. On a smartphone, we can collect all the data, but we can also use it to present survey questions. And we do this because the physiology is not the whole story. So you can become excited in a very positive way, which would lead to the same kinds of physiological changes that you see during stress. Now, for this we need to link it, be able to link it also to subjective data, which we will collect with the smartphones. And people will get prompts on the devices, like 10 times a day, asking them to fill out short questionnaires. And then they take like a few minutes to fill out a few questions. And this will enable us to link these physiological data to the subjective data and get a full picture of someone's mood and stress states. At first, the questions will cover mood states. So we just want to know how you feel at this moment. How happy are you? How sad are you? How depressed are you? Those types of questions. And then we try to interpret this with more contextual kinds of questions, like which social environment are you in at this moment? Are you alone? Are you with family? Are you with friends? Are you with virtual friends, maybe online? In addition to this, we'd also like to know how you look back at the past period, like the past few hours, which we can then link to the physiological data that we have. And we also ask you to look forward to the next 2 hours. Are you looking forward? Are you excited about doing something? Are you anticipating something? This gives us a full picture of the context in which we measure the physiological changes. Ultimately, everything has to be automatized, because we're going to need real-time analysis to be able to, in real time, also trigger potential interventions. So that means that the data analysis pipeline has to be fully automatic and working on servers, which of course is a huge task that will be a great challenge, I think, for the Dynamo team. An example could be that you get into a fight with your boss, for instance, and you start ruminating about this. You get physiologically aroused, you don't know what to do. And in such a moment, the devices could trigger a prompt which would tell you to now rethink the situation, take a step back, take a little bit of distance and think about it, and then apply a new strategy to approaching the situation. But of course, it could be the wrong moment to do it, so they can also postpone it and do it later. But it would still be an intervention that's really targeted at the moment, trying to change what they're doing at that very moment. Yeah, so we're collecting really a lot of data from our subjects. includes biological data like brain scans and genetics, which are very sensitive. But also medical history, life history, all kinds of very sensitive personal data. So protecting these data is really of most important to us. So everything we do privacy is guaranteed under European Union laws, the General Data Protection Directive, which ensures that all the data that we collect from our participants are coded in such a way that we keep personally identifiable data separate from our research data. So the personally identifiable data is locked securely and never shared with anyone. And the research data can be shared with others, but only when it's not possible to identify an individual from this. So the devices will be locked and encrypted, so nobody can, in principle, have access to the devices when they find it. The mHealth device stands for mobile health device. So that means that it's a very general term for using mobile devices to improve health.